Good evening. Oh, bring that camera over here a wee bit. Good evening. Welcome to Woodturning in the Stable Studio. That was a nice Lambretta sign that Kez just done. That was looked very, very good. I think I need to mute a tab there. I'll just fix that. It's good. So, what am I going to do this evening? Apart from trying to stay awake after last night. I have a suspect in the background here, so I'll just introduce the earworms first before we go any further. We have Pete from Twisted Trees.
Hi.
And we have Steve from SK Craft.
Evening.
These two guys are going to keep me right with time-wise and look after you guys in the chat while I try and make this turning last for an hour. This might be difficult, but sure, we'll have a go and see what happens. So the little project today, let me just go to that camera. I'll pop you guys back in the background. There's the it's a piece of branch wood. It's about 2.5 inches across or in diameter, and it's about 4 inches, maybe 5 inches long. And I intend to turn a mouse out of it. So the first thing I need to do is get this rounded down to a shape I can use. So I'll bring that tool rest in a little bit, and I'm going to start by using a spindle roughing gauge. I'm going to have to go and turn my heater off because it's absolutely roasting in here now. Just give me a second, guys. Just a delaying tactic. Switch that off. That's better. It suddenly jumped up to 18 degrees in my workshop. I don't know why. So spindle roughing gouge. Safety goggles on. And because it's between centers, not too worried about it. Give it a little tighten up. Lock everything down. And off we go. You guys can tell me who's in the chat.
Do you want to do it, Pete, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it. Right, top of my list. Actually, I'll go from the participants because I think I've missed the first few. I haven't got participants either. Hang on.
You lost the participants list. I did that
I've
earlier.
lost my participants list. All right, I'll go from the top of my chat as it is. So the first one I've got is Michelle Oosby, so no mentioning of any new tools. And we've got Rob from Copper Owl, Dara Coulon, Shane Hurst, Tipsy Turner's in, David J. Heath, Guildford Carpenter, Neil M. Me, apparently I'm here.
No, not Pete. He's not here, is he? Oh, the troublemaker's in. Damn.
Michelle Higgins.
I'll not use it. I was going to use a skew there, but I'll change my mind and I'll
Malcolm
use this.
McEwen, Robert Dolman, Susie the Swiss Woodturner, Larry Glass, Larry Nixon from Florida.
So I'm just making a little tenon for this to put into my chuck. I want to secure it in the chuck.
We've got Huey Lionheart who's come in with a question. He said, did you say mouse or moose?
Well, there's a moose loose running about the house, so
Andy Robert Lerner's in,
pick.
Grandpa Jim, John from New Jersey, Stephen the Wood Dude.
Right, we'll get this into its...
Anita Ball.
We'll get this one into a chuck.
AGK Woodworks, I think that's all.
Cool.
As I said, my list doesn't necessarily start at the beginning, so I don't know for sure.
Stick that back up in its chuck, buddy.
Welcome, one and all.
And we'll use an SC2 chuck today. It's only a small piece of wood, so we don't need a great big chuck. The only issue is it's got this dopey key, which is a bit of a pain.
That'd be nice if I had the SC4 key, wouldn't it?
It would. It would be ideal, in fact.
Or the SK114 was even better.
Let's not start that again.
Just had to, Pete. You just had to.
You just
Hey, I used
couldn't
my
let
record
it go.
power
Yeah.
one today.
You did. You just couldn't let it be, could you?
Nope.
So I've just used the tailstock just to make sure that's properly centered and squished it into the jaws a bit without over tightening it. This is a piece of magnolia. Hence it's so white.
Does it smell at all?
No smell of it whatsoever. None.
Apparently you have 53 watching, so I think they're coming in thick and fast now.
Yeah.
So either that, you missed a whole lot of people, Pete.
I may well have missed a whole lot, but they might just be coming in and haven't said anything yet.
So I'm just going to lift my tailstock, tool rest up a little bit because I'm going to use my skew. Oh, brave old me, eh?
Oh.
There is a branch inclusion just there, and a knot. And we still have a little bit, and there's another little knot up here. But we'll see how it goes. So first thing is we'll mark off where we're going to part off, about there somewhere. Just a V-cut. Do a couple of little V-cuts, just open a space up. And then we'll do a couple of peeling cuts just to peel some timber off this end. Because we don't really need all that much.
Steel Blade Woodworks and JP have come in and said hello. Welcome, guys.
Welcome along, boys.
So when you said you're using your skew, using it as a scraper, is that what you're saying?
No, that's a peeling cut, Steve. Look, that's a peeling cut. See, just stand there and then peel it on down. Look, that's not scraping. That's cutting. Look, nice, fine little fluffy shavings. Look.
Okay, we'll let you off it.
Only did that to get rid of some, so you can see those little shavings now. Try that camera.
It's a nice quick way of getting into a taper, isn't it?
Yep, it is. So I'm just bringing that down into a nice taper. Not too worried about this bit because we're just going to cut that off now and get rid of it.
Susie said, question. So the mouse will be female and be called Lady Magnolia.
Lady Magnolia. Could be worse, could be Lady Madonna. So we'll just try to sit.
Ben's come in. Hi, Ben.
Right,
So I see Brian's truck has shrunk again.
It has, yep.
You wouldn't have that problem with the SK114.
How did I know he was going to say that?
And Stephen,
So
for the second time actually, has said, I would have used some O'Donnell's on the SK114. But hey, that's just me.
So just roll this over now and make a nice rounded shape for its bottom. Now we'll just take another little V-cut out of there. I'll not go too thin there just for now. Just leave that now. I can drop the tool rest a little bit now. Set it to the same angle as the angle we want on the mouse, and we'll just bring that on down now to the desired size.
So is there a specific length you make them, Brian, or is it just whatever you feel like?
It's just whatever kind of feels like. Well, there's Maurice. Look, he's a little bit shorter than this one, but they're all roughly about the same size. Somewhere between 2.5 to 3 inches long, about the same size as a real mouse. We'll just get rid of that fluffy bit there. And then we'll just part this end off and get rid of that bit that was held in the, or held by the step center. Just get rid of that. And then we can lose the tailstock. And I'll just get rid of that step center. Quickly get rid of the tail stump. Winding this thing forever. I think we need a powerized wind on one of these things. Right.
Blair said, Brian, you sound so much more awake.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
That's the Red Bull.
Yeah. So we'll just get rid of that nub. And I'm just going to go to my detail gauge now and just make a nose.
Brian?
Yes?
First one.
Oh, I know. You're not on the beer already, are you?
Why not?
Yeah, if not, why not? So I'm just rolling that little bead back and forward. Making a roundish nose, and then I'm just going to bring it down into a nose shape. Whatever a mouse nose shape is. That'll do. Back to the skew for a second and just bring the sort of face bit down to match the nose. So I want the nose to be slightly larger than the muzzle, if you want to call it that. Somewhere about there. Just like that. Spindle gauge again.
Are you all right, Pete? You're not drinking on your own. Look, Michelle's just joined you.
That's all right then.
She's not drinking again, is she? That woman's it's a terror. So because I've used the skew, I'm going to just sand this quickly up with
Andy Woodwork Learner said, Brian, how many subscribers do you want before you order a gold-plated sweeping brush? Or have you got one already?
100,000 subscribers and I'll have a gold-plated sweeping brush. So remember I said there was a bit of a knot in this. We're actually bouncing with the skew here. So we're just going to try and take a nice finishing cut there and get it as nice as we can. That feels a whole lot better. And now we'll just quickly sand it. I don't know why I stopped the lathe. But we're just going to sand it. Oh. Gotta put the extractor on it. I've cleaned it all out today, so it's all working. That's the little record power one, the same thing as you have, Steve. You know, the two motors, cam back.
Yeah.
It has the twin motors, and I have both motors on this evening.
Yeah.
To get rid of the dust, and it's seriously effective.
If you keep the filter bags clean, they usually work quite well.
Yeah, that's what I did today. I took the filter bags off, give them a bit of a beating on the bin, blew them out, blew them with the air gun from the inside to the out. And it's away. It's working tremendously well there.
Yeah, I wash mine once a month.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that as I was doing it today. I thought if I just bought myself a spare set of them, I could take a set off.
Yeah.
Aaron here's got a question, Brian.
You go ahead.
What do you call the round sponge-looking thing that's put inside a bowl when making the last turns? I'm assuming she means a friction drive, which you won't be using here, but you've got it handy.
I have 2 or 3 of them actually.
Yeah, but I think we're within reach.
When you want one?
Well, I have this thing, which is just a round shape. There's another one for a different shape bowl.
They're not spongy.
I have another one. They're just wood. But then, what we put on it, as if I can find it. Oh, there it is. We just use router mat. It's just a piece of router mat, and that just goes over the end.
Yeah. Just squash it between.
So for the thing I did the other day, I just put that over the end of it. Put that.
It gives you a friction drive and protection at the same time.
So it's really that simple. And I also have this little plate thing that I made that fits in your chuck that you can butt up against. Or if you put your Jacob's chuck in the other end, you can lock it into that too. So they're easy made, just with scraps of timber.
Yeah.
Keith Jarvis.
Right.
Hi, Keith.
So I'll add a little detail to this now. What we want to do is have a look at it and see if there are any interesting marks and interesting features that might cause a little bit of interest. So as I said, there's a knot here. So we'll leave that knot on top. So that'll be the back of the mouse. And I'm just going to put, using this little center punch, just put a couple of little holes for nostrils. You'll be able to see that from there. So you'll probably not see them, but there's just a couple of little tiny holes in there for nostrils. And that adds to the effect. And now I want to blacken the nose. And the way I blacken the nose, I just use a Sharpie. Turn the list speed down. So I'm leaning on the lathe at the same time. And at this stage, if you make a mistake and get a little bit on there, it's easy enough to sand it back off again. If you leave it till you're done, I'll just sand that back off. There we go. And that's the nose done.
Dave Oakley's joined. Terry's joined. Hi, Terry. Hi, Dave.
Does Terry want to come in? No?
And Keith Jarvis.
Hi, Keith. So, in order to set the eyes, again, I'm going to make sure this knot is right in the middle.
Nostrils are not level.
I used a piece of sandpaper, and all I've done, I've drawn two sets of lines on it. The closest together ones are for the eyes. So we'll just set that on there.
Brian.
Oh, yes, mate.
Your nostrils are not level.
They are now. Let me just make sure. That'll do. So now we've got two eyes and we can get them parallel across the mouse. Because if you do it by eye, you're liable to get them squint.
Do the eyes by eye.
By eye. And the outside line, the two outside lines, just slide it back about half an inch or so. And do the outside lines. And that's for the ear.
Terry says he can't come in, he's cooking tea.
Alright, we'll take a 3mm drill bit. And we'll just drill that in a little bit.
Scott's joined us. Hi, Scott.
Keep it in the same sort of angle. And do the same for the ears.
Rob says, I think we've already done 5 by now. I've got to say, Brian did force me to make one once. But I set fire to it immediately so it didn't breathe.
He wasn't very happy. He had to make one. Again, quickly sand that up. Just to take any fuzzies away there from the drilling process. Now, we need to get this parted off from here. So we'll use a skew again. Just give ourselves a little bit of room first. Using a V-cut. I'll just quickly take this chuck off here. Put that over there. Bring this chuck in. Handy having these chuck buddies just sitting right behind my lathe. I can just take the chuck off the chuck buddy, stick it straight on the lathe. And I'll just sand off the little nub on the end.
Yeah, I should have them behind my legs as soon as Steve prints me that wall.
I think I need a bigger printer for that one, Pete. I can do you the bricks.
Yeah, printing the individual brick stumps, the self-assembly wall.
Yeah. Blair's joined us. Hi, Blair, and Roy's the boys joined. Hi, Roy.
Yeah.
We'll just give that a little sand up there.
Yeah, it could be a
50
while
by
to
hand.
print the bricks. Did you want Lego size?
Yeah, it got to be
The
Lego
next thing,
style.
the next thing then is to locate where the tail's going to go. So obviously we're going to keep the eyes uppermost, and it depends what angle we want to set the mouse at. Let's go with that one. So you can have the mouse kind of lying down if you like, or you can be sitting up, and that determines where you put the tail. So I think we'll set this one up a little bit. So I'm going to put the tail just about there. Make sure it's kind of between the eyes. And again, that's just a 3mm hole. And the next thing I do then is I take one of these little nails and just stick it in the hole. And I get a little tap with a pair of pliers. Just give that a little tap with a pair of pliers. And that gives me something to hold it to colour it. So, next part of the process is to set the flat for the bottom. So if I go to that camera, I'll nip over to the sander. Get it, make sure it's lined up correctly. So the eyes are uppermost. And that's about the angle I was looking for. We'll switch that on. And just sand the bottom.
Trevor Reed has joined. Hi, Trevor.
That's the hardest bit, really, isn't it? It's getting the angle right, get the artistic feel to it.
And
Camera
that's the
glitches a little
finish.
bit.
This camera, it's a nightmare. I'll just have to put it up with for now, guys. Right, we can switch that camera back off again for now. I'm going to need it in a minute, though. Go back to the webcam just for a second. Just going to move this camera. Oh no, I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I forgot something. Right, that's the basic body of the mouse done. Next thing I need is go to the overhead again. Remove this chuck, and we'll make some eyes. So you could, in actual fact, just buy eyes if you wanted to. Although Steve has some little googly eyes that you can use. If you go to the range, you can buy all sorts of eyes, like little googly eyes, or I
We
do
can't
have
have
some.
Steve's, he's using them.
I don't want Steve. Steve's eyes not much good anyway. Have you seen the glasses he wears?
Thanks, Brian.
That's all right, mate. Anytime. Oh, there we go. You could use little crystals as well, like these. You can buy these little crystal sets as well. You have multicoloured eyes if you wanted, but I prefer to turn them. So in order to turn them, I started off with a piece of wood like this. So it's just about, I don't know, 15mm square. Put it in this chuck. With a set of pin jaws on it. And I've measured it down to 8mm. And the way I made it 8mm is I just took it down to it was roughly that, and just used that 8mm spanner to finish it off. I'll just show you how that works. Turn the speed down a little bit. Turn the speed back up again. I'll turn it off because that's not located correctly. Or at least it feels like it's not. Try that. It's better. You just use the spanner and that sets the size. And if I just slide it all the way along, we know that that's 8mm now. So they'll all be the same size. Next. So when you're making one eye, so if I just round that over slightly to make it look like an eye, and then set the depth of the cannon somewhere about there. Before you start to cut that one off, actually start to make the next eye. So start that round there. And that'll be the second eye then. And I want that to come down to 3mm, because that's the holes I just drilled. There's not much material, you're not working with much material there, so you gotta just take gentle cuts And this is a Robert Sorby detail gauge, or 1/4 inch spindle gauge. And I have it sharpened with a swept back grind. Now, I'll just use my verniers now. Or verniers they're actually called, but I call them verniers.
Because they're very near. They're very near the size you want.
They're very nearly exactly right.
Wayne, the Woodturners joined us. Hi, Wayne. How are you, mate?
Hi, Wayne. So just check that's still at 3mm. If I had a 3mm spanner, you could do the same thing as I did with the 8mm spanner, but I haven't got a 3mm spanner.
$12.99, Michelle.
I suppose I should invest in one, shouldn't I? Really?
There is
lose a lot off of there.
Comment from Michelle Oosby, which ends in a frowny face.
Oh no!
When did you get them, Brian?
When did I get what? The verniers. I've had them forever. So that's down to 3mm now. Take your sandpaper and just give the end a little buff off. And again, if you wanted black ice, which we will do in this case, we'll just use our, well, I think I'll use it. I seem to have misplaced it.
In your pocket?
Nah, it's back in the drawer. We can just have black ice.
Yeah, I think the answer to Michelle is, he's had it for years, it's just been in the back of the wardrobe.
That's it.
Just hasn't worn it for a while.
So that's the first one done. I'll put it in my pocket now, Steve, so I know where it is the next time. I'll just part that off as nice as I can. Up there. Put it in there. And I'll make one more, because you need 2 ice mice.
Well, this is an accident.
Unless it's one of the 3 blind mice, now you don't need any ice.
So do you make sets of eyes and just stick them in a container somewhere?
Yep. So if I was actually going to make a production run of these, I would maybe just stand here and make 50 pairs of eyes.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Do your head in, like.
I could. I feel the tension you just talking about that.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy, but sometimes you're just in the mood for that.
I do the same with watch pins.
Yeah, as Pete was saying yesterday, you kind of just put the music on and forget the world, eh? Because it's so fine, you still have to concentrate a lot, so you can get rid of your daily worries.
Woodworm Paul's joined. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul. So that should be pretty close. Wee bit to go there. And the good thing is, if you make a mistake and break it, it doesn't really matter. Just make another one. It's not like you're wasting a lot of timber. And of course,
If
you
you
can
had a
make
3mm
these.
spanner, you could do the same as you did to get to 8mm, couldn't you?
You could exactly, yeah. But that's what I said earlier. I don't have a 3mm spanner yet. They're actually not that common. You know, it's not like you go into a shop and pick up a 3mm spanner.
No.
You almost a little craft kit spanner.
Yeah.
Don't you?
That's it, yeah.
However, I've got a 4mm spanner and a 4mm drill bit, so I'd probably do that.
That would be fine, yeah. The size is relevant, really. It's just about kind of making it
Yeah, just match the drill bit.
fit the mouse.
Well, you could drill a 3mm hole. You could drill a 3mm hole in a bit of wood and then just cut it off.
You should. So that's one pair of eyes made, guys. So I'm not going to stand here and make a whole lot of pairs of eyes. Right. I'll just put that in this little cup here for now. What time are we? past. That's perfect. That's exactly what I was aiming for. Get the turning finished in half an hour. So that's basically all the turning done. And I'll just take this chuck off as is my want.
Michelle's learning. She said they're only $12.99.
She is indeed. So again, can't stress enough about the chuck buddies. I need to show you a picture of them just in a minute because Fabulous bit of kit. Don't know what I did before that. I'll just show you my chuck buddies. There they are.
Ben says, guys, I'm going to blow your mind. Wait for it. You can buy these things called adjustable spanners.
But they're usually too fat.
Usually too
So
fat and way too wobbly for that.
There's my chuck buddies up here. Mounted on a little 45-degree angle shelf. So as it takes the weight, particularly of this big heavy one, it's a 5-inch chuck. 4-inch chuck, sorry, with deep heavy gripper jaws on it. So that's what I use. Let me go back to that for a second.
Is that shelf going? I'm sure you only had 5 chucks last time I looked.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and a bit, maybe. Shut up, Pete. I'll be sending the boy after you. Right, let's try and work with this glitchy camera, and hope this doesn't spoil your viewing, guys.
Gone black.
That's good, isn't it? That's only because I pressed the wrong button. I can get rid of the safety glasses now. So this is what I'm laughingly calling the assembly area today.
Assembly area.
Assembly area. Yeah. I'm going to make a wee sign for up here. You know, preparation and assembly. I think.
So you're going to label the wall.
Yep, I'm going to label the wall. Yep. So we've got this little mouse, and in honor of our good friend Joe, who's a little bit poorly today, I'm going to make this mouse purple. So I'm going to use intrinsic colours. Purple.
Val has joined us. Good evening.
So
good evening, Val.
I'm just going to put this on with a paintbrush. And we'll just paint that on. Now, if I was making a lot of these, it might be an idea to spray them or dip them in something, or use a bigger paintbrush or something, because it takes a while. These spirit stains don't have soak in. Oops, don't run away there. You'll get a big thick line there, you don't want that. Is that okay? Is that in the picture for you guys? Because I can't see the screen anymore.
Yeah, you're in the picture. Camera's a bit glitchy, but you're in there.
I need to do something about that camera.
It's USB lead, I imagine.
It is exactly the USB lead, Pete. Steve, sorry. That is exactly the problem. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and pay for one that's a bit more than $12.99.
Well, I did give you a link for a good quality USB lead.
You did, and you gave me it some time ago, and I cannot.
He's like, oh my god, look at the price! I can't afford. I'm not going to pay that for a lead.
I think it was something like 23 quid, and I balked at the price. I thought, no, I can't pay that. No, I can't.
Just look up juice bits spelt with a Z on the end.
Juice bits.
Yeah, juice bits with a Z on the end.
Okay,
brilliant
so that's the colour. Doesn't take very long, and I'll just set it on the little drying rack here. And I'll take another one that I made earlier. So we have this little guy. Or no, I'll tell you what I'll do. No, I'll use this little guy. Or will I? No, I'll use this little guy because I've checked the ears over. So I've got this little guy, and what I've done is I've got his tail in already. And if you look at that one, you'll see that I've left a bit of bark on his back there. It just kind of worked in nicely.
Looks like he's got a saddle on.
And he's all, yeah, it does look a bit like, yeah, it might get a little Lego cowboy or something. You stick him on there. And he's also got a bit of spalting or something on his nose, which is quite nice. So I'll show you how to do the tail in a minute. Just ignore the tail, it's not there. So I want to show you how to make the ears first. So I bought these little bits of faux leather off eBay, and they came, I think it was 90 pence or 99 pence a sheet, and not the size of the sheet there. And you get loads of little mouse ears out of them. So I laser cut them. So basically just a lozenge shape or a balloon shape, if you like, and then I cut them out with laser. And this is what you end up with. You see them okay? You can. So in order to make them into an ear, we just use a little bit of super glue. And I've decanted some into this little cup. And all I'm going to do is drip a little bit on the end, about the first 1/4 inch, and then fold it over from the top. Keep your fingers away from the glue if you can, so the top edges meet together. And then I'm going to spray it a tiny little bit with activator, and then use my little tweezers, squeeze the bottom together, hold it for a few seconds, and that's how you make it here. Show you that one more time. A little bit of glue, first 1/4 inch or so. Need a little bit more there.
Is that thick CA glue you're using, bro?
That's medium CA glue I'm using. Thin CA glue doesn't work. It just soaks completely in and dries almost instantaneously. So it doesn't really work. So use medium. You could use thick, I suppose, if you wanted to. So again, just kind of fold over the tops so they're touching each other. Quick squirt of activator. Use your flat point tweezers that you can buy from the range. You get a set for 99p. So they're not a fortune.
Jake's joined us. Hi,
So,
Jake.
no, I didn't
Hi,
quite
Jake.
say it.
Michelle's asking if they're her tweezers.
No, these are your tweezers there. That one's not working, so I'll need to use a little bit more glue. Stick a little bit more glue in there, and there's activator in there already, so that should just go now. Sometimes it sucks into the backing cloth and it doesn't stick. That's better. So there we go. So that's 2 little ears, and the next thing I do then is to just trim a little bit off. Because that's kind of flat here, I want it a bit more pointy, so I just trim a little bit off from where I think it's going to go into the ear using a scalpel. Dangerous for me. Usually cut my fingers here now. I'm not to be trusted with fire or sharp things.
What are you turning?
Yeah, I know. It's madness, really, you know.
Peter Corcoran just joined us. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Welcome along, mate. Welcome to everybody, by the way. I don't think I said hello to everybody. How are we doing for time, boys?
It's 22 nearly.
Yeah, that's all right. Plenty of time. Loads of time. So these then will be set into here, into the eye socket, or the eye socket. Put an ear in an eye socket. That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll put these into the ear socket. Just kind of test fit them first to make sure it's okay. And if it is, we shall get a little bit of super glue again, just on the end of our stick, and pop it down into the hole. And I'm not going to use activator initially, but what we'll do is I'll just push that in now. If you guys can actually see that. And I use this point tool, or scribe tool, just to push that in right at the very bottom of the ear. And that kind of sets that in. Cover the other holes and put a little bit of activator down that one. There we go. So that's one ear. Let's go with the other one. Test fit again. That's quite nice. A little bit of glue. This guy's not very well balanced. I might take him back to the sander in a second. Too much glue on that one. Hope you can see that. Just rub that in there. A little bit of glue in there. Tuck that in and make sure they're kind of both facing forwards. Or you'll have one eye looking for you, another one looking at you. That one's not going to squeeze in just the same.
Who's like that? You call him Pontoon?
Yeah. Just give that a little squeeze, that should be better. I'll hit that again with some activator. You don't have to use activator, you can just leave it to set, but we're in a little bit of a hurry. And there's the eyes that we turned. So 2 eyes there. Oops. That's the whole one. That's and then these eyes just fit. So So there should
Right,
be.
you've got 71 in and 20 minutes to go, mate.
Wow. So just take my time now a wee bit. So I'll make another one just in a second. So again with the eyes, test fit them, make sure they go in fairly easily. And then drop a little bit of glue in. Still have the tail to do yet. Now he's going to have a little tear in his eye because I've spilt some super glue there. But that'll be okay. I know both these fit, so I'm just going to do both of them at once. So just one little eye in there. Push that in. The other little eye in there. Now, if you don't get them quite right, that's why test fit them all the time. You can easily just sand them a little bit. Or you could open the hole a little bit, just kind of give the drill a little bit of a wiggle. Now, you can see this guy's got a tail. So I'll just set him over there for a second to let him dry a little bit with his eyes, etc. I don't like the way he's not very well balanced, so we'll do some. And we'll take this one and we'll put a tail on this guy. So the first thing I need to do is get rid of the little nail that's on here. That's just a nail from my nail gun. 2-inch nail from my nail gun. Just grab my pliers. I'll just pop that out of there.
Carl's just joined us. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl. Well, welcome along, mate. So that's him. We'll do a different colour ears on him. It was red we just used, wasn't it? He can have brown ears, can he? Brown ears. Is that brown ears match with that colour? Or maybe purple ears. Purple ears. So you can mix and match as much as you like. Let me just stick them 2 purple ones I made earlier in there. And see how that looks. I'll not bother sticking these in just for now. I'll come back to that. There we go. And I've got 1 pair of eyes left. Stick them in. I've got a feeling these are not going to fit. They're not. So I'll show you how to fix that. Just remedy that. We'll just use a drill and make the hole just a little bit bigger. It doesn't matter if the eye's a little bit loose, even, because you're gluing it into place anyway.
One trick I use for that sort of thing. I've got one of those metal drill gauges with all different size holes in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good plan.
And because it's metal, it's got an edge to it.
Yeah,
you screw something into a certain size, it comes out that size.
So that works okay. We'll just, in fact, I'll just glue them in just to be 1/4 We've got loads of time.
We've got plenty of time, mate.
Yep. So just a drop of super glue in there. And pop this here in. There we go. Now, you can have the ears at all sorts of angles, depending on whatever mood you're in. Take your pick, basically. Whatever you think look cutest. These actually sell quite well because of the cuteness factor. That's them. I'll just give that a quick squirt over there. We'll set the eyes now. Do both eyes because I'm not going to put in any. It's all very quiet. Worries me when you guys are quiet.
We're watching in anticipation.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're anticipating. Now, sometimes if the eye won't go in quite far enough, just give it a little tap. It'll go in. There you go. He's going to have a black eye now. So you can see that's his ears are set a bit further apart there. Now, tail. I just bought this copper wire, and I forget what size it is. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is in millimeters. It is actually 1.5 mil electrical cable. So if you get the like cooker cable, what that is, Steve, 1.5?
Yeah.
Twin and earth.
Yeah, cooker cable's multi-wrap in it, so that'd be one of the coil wraps, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I just bought this little coil from Amazon anyway. It was about £3 or something. And I kind of just shaped the tail. So I put a little curl in the end, and then I fold the end over. And I'll just show you how to do that. So I've got a pair of pliers here, and I've got a bit of heat shrink on them, so the gripper teeth don't mark the. So we just take the end, and we just kind of slowly turn that, and just move your pliers just a little tiny fraction every time, and just bring that into a coil, and then go back to the beginning and just finish the coil off, just like that. And on the other end, go to the flat, and I'm just going to fold it over to 90 degrees, or a bit beyond, like so, and then squish it flat. It doesn't really matter so much if there's little gripper jaws marks on this, because it's going to disappear anyway. So that tail is about the length of the mouse, if you look. Somewhere about there. About the same length as the mouth, roughly. Gives you a better idea. And that just gets pushed in there. So test fit it first, and that works okay. A little bit of super glue in there as well. Oops. So I'll just drip that in there. And I always put quite a bit of super glue in here, kind of almost fill the hole a little bit. So it's going to stay in there. Now, the important thing about these is they're not toys. They're just ornamental. And that just gets pushed in there now. It's kind of stuck there. Use the pliers and then push it on in. And you can set that to the angle you want it at. Some of them have their tail switched over, some will have it directly over their back. And then just kind of manipulate that. And just curl the tail over. There we go. Another little mouse done. So
if someone didn't have no CA glue, they could use epoxy for that, couldn't they?
You could use epoxy, 2-part epoxy will work just the same. It's just a little thicker and a little harder to get into the little tiny holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could basically, and you can use whatever you like for the tail. You don't have to use copper wire. You could use a piece of string. It would do the same job. It would just lie on the ground. The string burns better, yeah. So I just use copper wire because I like the effect of it actually standing up. I did originally. I wonder if I got an original one. I did an original mouse. This is one of the first ones I did. I'll show you these two guys. These are the first two I did. And well, this was a piece of sheepskin off an old coat I used for that, and the eyes, little tiny nose. And this is just a piece of electrical flex, brown electrical cord. You can't really see that, can you?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, got it.
So it's just, and again, if it's ornamental, it doesn't really matter because nobody should be sticking it in their mouth, hopefully. And that again gives you that kind of sticking up, or you could turn it and bend it so as it kind of trails on the ground.
Benjamin's got a very important question.
Yep.
He said, could you use a twiglet for the tail?
You could use whatever you like. You could use your imagination and make it out of whatever you fancied. There's nothing to stop you.
I think a matchmaker would be better bend than a twiglet.
A matchmaker. Very good, Steve. You can use a pipe cleaner. You know, I don't know if you still get pipe cleaners, do you?
Yeah, you can still get them.
You can certainly get them in hobby shops.
All right, so you can get a pipe cleaner would do the same job. Anything at all, just to change it up and make it different. I just happen to like them. And I made this little rack that I have here because sometimes I lacquer them. So it's handy to have the little rack, lacquer them up first, and then fully assemble them.
So when you colour those, do you sand and seal them, or do you just leave them coloured?
Yes. So these, well, it depends what I'm doing with them. If they're getting painted, they get sanding sealed first. Or if they're getting stained, I'll sand it. These two have been sanding sealed. So they've been coloured and then sanding sealed.
Right.
Just the same as you do if you're doing a bowl or a vase or anything else, same principles apply. If you're using stains, don't sand and seal. If you're using colours, do sand and seal. So
Clive from Sneaks Wall Art has just joined us. Hi, Clive. How you doing, bud?
Hi, Clive. Welcome along, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
So that's basically that, guys. That's how to make a mouse. What I want to do is just change cameras over here. I'm going to leave you on that glitchy camera just for a second, and I will do a little preparation work here. I'll come back to you in a second.
I think Brian's about to show us why you shouldn't make a mouse.
This is why you shouldn't make a mouse, right? It's a tragedy, guys. You see what happens.
The family.
It just goes mad. It goes bonkers. Oh, wait a minute. What have I done there? He needs more room, build an extension, a colourful palace, spare no expense. So, in the odd time that something does go right for me, this is working okay.
Trevor Reed says, super cute, a friend for Morris.
Yep. Oh. Well, that's the idea, that they become cute.
Cute.
Oh, what? Cute is right. I don't know if JP's in the chat or not.
Not seen him post for a while, but he did come in earlier.
Yeah. He'll probably be coming back in a minute or two. He's probably lying down somewhere.
Yeah.
If he's got any sense.
Susie's asked, how many have you made so far, Brian?
Just one or two. Susie, not very many. He says
Marion Teal said,
he says lying through
UPS
his
just
teeth.
bought my 4-door truck. Hurrah.
Oh, hurrah. Right, I'm going to have to trial this and see all this.
So Grandpa Jim reckon you need to turn a block of cheese now.
I think actually Brian needs to turn a cat.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that actually. Or a mousetrap, yeah, make a mousetrap. Let's have a look. I don't know where this camera's going to go, but we'll try this. Let's go to that camera.
Oh, look at that.
There you go, guys. There's the mouse family. And there's the dude himself. See?
There's danger, you get infestation.
There's the boy. So that's a little mice, and I sell them. I retail them at £9.99 each. Some of them have got like Joe Sonia paints on them. You can go mad, do whatever you like. He's got purple ears. Go with his Joe Sonia paints. These are just intrinsic colours. That's intrinsic earth. Oops. There's another one with a little bit of flame on it.
Very cool.
These yellow ears. So there's lots of things you can do. You're limited by your own imagination, really. So there you go, guys. That's us. We're done. We're 7 minutes away from. TJ's just said.
Someone's asking where you got the ears from.
Where I got the ears from? The pieces of faux leather. These pieces of faux leather came from eBay. I just looked up faux leather, and I typed in faux leather samples, and I got. This is a slightly smaller. That's actually about that long. So the actual pieces are about that length when you get them. And there's 5 or 6 colours in a pack, and they're 99 pence or something.
So Harry's asking, where do you sell them?
I sell them through my website. I'd love to be able to put the website link in, but I just haven't got it to hand. Pete might know it off the top of his head.
I do know it off the top of my head.
See, I knew you would, because it came from Pete. Pete set it up. So I sell through my website, and I also sell through Facebook. If anybody's interested in buying them, they're welcome to give me a private message and order a few if you want. It's up to yourselves. Please yourself. So let's go back to the webcam and bring in my 2 earworms.
No, don't do it.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Just pasting the link in now.
Ah, thanks, mate. That's excellent. So next up we have Scot the Bluelight tumbler. Or turner. Everybody seems to call him the Bluelight tumbler these days. Some tells me he fell over sometime.
Several
So I
times.
several times.
Once or twice.
Sometimes. Maybe should have dressed it. Maybe should have dressed that picture with a few shavings just to annoy you guys.
I think JP
Yeah,
stopped
I'll-
counting the times that Scott falls
Right.
over.
There you go.
It started counting the times he stands up instead.
Yeah, the times he stays up, yeah. And I left this in here just for Jamie. I was kind of hoping he'd be here.
Strawberry.
That's for my good. That's for Jamie. It's Jamie's nickname, by the way. Everybody should be calling him Strawberry by now. There we go, guys. 5 to 7. Thanks very much for coming in. Thanks to Steve and Pete for keeping you guys in line. I hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you've learned something or you've given you some ideas. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the evening. I hope you are, if I can stay awake long enough. So, Scott, when you come on, you better be exciting, get big lad, because I'm kind of tired. Right, let's call it a day at that, guys. Thanks very much, everybody in the chat, and thanks to Pete and Steve again. So it's good night from Steve.
Good night.
And good night from Pete.
Good night, everyone.
And good night from me, guys. Thanks very much.
See you in the
Talk
next
to you
one.
all later.